Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Green Dog Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Pearl. Alongside me, we got the number one Florida Gators fan up in the top left, Evan Hendo Henderson. Evan, how we
It's a
feeling?
it's a very depressing time to be a Gator fan right now.
Yeah.
It was great for the first couple of weeks to, that you're yelling out that I'm a Gator fan, but now we're hiding. That's all we can do.
What do you want to change it to? Are we USF fans now, or are
No, no, no,
we?
no, no. We still stick with the boys in blue and orange, but it's a very tough time to tell everybody and their grandma you're a Gator
All
fan.
right, Boise State it is. Now, alongside the number one Boise State fan, we have the college football savant himself, Hunter Malone. Hunter, who are we repping today?
Go Big Blue! We rep in Kentucky. Why? Because the shirt was free. That's why.
In other words, he stole it from his girlfriend, and somehow, some way, they're somehow the same size.
I mean, she don't fit in this shirt.
Somehow, some way.
The shirt's tight.
Well, boys, week 4 happened here. I mean, where do we want to start? I think for me, the first place I think we need to start is the shocking loss that was Clemson losing to Syracuse and essentially taking themselves essentially out of national championship contention, CFP contention, and kind of you essentially need a miracle now to win the ACC, to at least maybe get a chance to go back. But Kate Klubnik looked bad. The defense is terrible. They let Steve Angeli throw the rock all over the yard. Like, where do they go from here? Hunter, they were your national championship pick. Actually, not even your they were your national champion.
Still are. We still are holding true. My bet won't let me no longer cash out on Hard Rock, so we're still holding on. I mean, there is a path. It does help that Steve Angeli did get hurt and I think is done for the year. So Syracuse will look completely different. Not going to say that loss looks good, but Syracuse will probably fall off the face of the earth. You have Miami and FSU. Basically, they got to run into each other at some point. Georgia Tech's going to run into one of them at some point. So you're going to have kind of what the SEC does every year, which is beat each other up. And I think if Clemson just stays through and runs the table, you got a real shot at making the ACC. And if you win your conference, you're in. So there is a shot, but it's not looking great.
Evan, Clemson initial thoughts here. Are they cooked? I personally think they're done, but I've seen crazier
Listen,
things happen in the ACC.
I feel like we've all seen crazier things happen in the ACC. I was with it. I said that they were going to win the ACC and their potential playoffs had implications to make the playoffs. But the way that have been playing, they do not look like a playoff caliber team whatsoever. I don't know if it was just because Syracuse came out and just decided that, hey, we got a fire under our ass. Let's go show them that like this team isn't it, or if it really was that on top of Clemson not being it. I think that they're gonna get the wins that they need to get, like on the little smaller low level ACC schools. But I think the wins that they need to get themselves and propel themselves into the college football playoffs, they're either going to be very close and they barely scrape by, or they're just going to get BTA and not win it. This is not the Clemson team that we thought it was at the beginning of the season.
I think it just leads into a larger conversation of Clemson. I'm looking at the stats here. You asked Kate Klubnik in that game to throw the ball 60 times. He was 37 to 60. He had over 300 yards, 363, and 3 touchdowns. In the stat sheet, Clemson dominated this game. I think they had, way more passing yards. They were only off by 100, not 100, by 17 rushing yards. Like, they had more yards and they moved the ball pretty easily on Syracuse, but Syracuse just had it. They also had, that kind of grit that you need to have, like going onside after you score your first touchdown and kicking an onside kick and recovering it and showcasing that. But
That's just
Clemson's road.
deflating.
But like, where does Clemson make up ground though? Like, you're a 3-loss team, right? You already have 2 losses in the ACC, right? So where are you going to make up the ground you know, if like is the only hope for Clemson is to win the ACC? Is their at-large bid dream dead?
I'd
Open-ended.
have to imagine so. The rest of the schedule doesn't look good. Now, your loss to LSU will look good for the rest of the season. And the loss to Syracuse is unexcusable. But at the same time, this Clemson team is a team that's ran the league. They've won 8 out of the last 10 years. You're getting everyone's best. It's kind of how we feel about Alabama still and Georgia now. Like, hey, man, like that Kentucky game, they're coming after you. Vandy, they're coming after you. Like, you're getting everyone's A game, and if you're not on it, you're going to lose. And unfortunately for Clemson, they're just getting everyone's A game, and we've yet to see I think their B game. They've looked horrible, turning the ball over, bad reads, bad decisions by Klubnik. I think we expected all of them to make this stride and this growth, and they haven't. And it's like, what's missing? And that's on the coaching. Why are they not getting better? And for that, until they turn it around, and are they on a bye this week or no? Because
They're on
they
the
need
bye.
it. Yeah, they need it. Like, take
I
a day to
think
yourself. Like,
I think the only way that they're going to propel themselves into getting that spot, that at-large bid spot, is if they win out. And like, of course, like it's an easy option to say, like, you got to win out, especially with your 3 losses. But like, if they win out, especially if they beat a number 8 Florida State right now, or they beat a pretty good South Carolina team, like that's going to propel you in upwards and get you looks at being that at-large bid. I mean, Duke team hasn't been too bad either. But like the Duke, the UNC, Boston College, like I'm looking at their schedule right now. Like those are games that everyone's just gonna kind of look at you and be like, "Oh, cool, you beat this fucking damn near Division II team." Not actually like saying that, but or thinking that, but like it's those wins won't be as notable as beating Florida State, who's hot on fire right now, and I hate to say that as a Gator fan, or this South Carolina team that has shown us that they are hot, that they can be hot, that they started to go a little bit downhill when Sellers was getting hurt and not making great decisions, but they've shown glimpses of being hot. So like they have the chances of showing themselves being or slipping their way in, but I don't think it's going to be like through an ACC title or anything like that they would get into the playoffs.
Well, they win the ACC, they get an automatic bid to the college football playoff now.
I don't
They
see
just
them
don't.
winning it.
Yeah, they just don't get the top 4 now. I mean, I guess so. We're all pretty out on Clemson minus Hunter. Does Dabo get fired at the end of this year? They don't
No,
do it, right?
no. God, no. It's his first
Everyone's like,
season that he hasn't been like
I did,
excelling the way that he has been.
I
As Hunter
also,
said, 8 of the last 10 seasons have been ACC champions.
I also
They're
think
not firing him.
this Clemson notion. I think they're low key kind of stuck in the Trevor Lawrence era of Clemson in the good old days. Like, because the last 3 or 4 years, they've actually have lost 3 or more games in each of the last 3 seasons. So, like, this is kind of the new norm for Clemson, unfortunately. But I don't see him firing Dabo. I don't see him firing Dabo, and if they do fire Dabo, like, no one wants that job. It's like succeeding like a Saban almost, just what he was able to do with Clemson, and that just tells your fan base that it's national championships or bust, and then you're in a bad cycle if that's the ship you want to sail. What was your guys' takeaway from week 4?
I was going to say the last time a 2 conference loss team made the ACC championship was 2019 Virginia, and they lost to Clemson 62-17.
Any other takeaways from week 4? What do we think? Are we over the Dylan Raiola BS?
I was over him last year.
Are we are we officially off the hype train? Are we off the Matt Rule year 3 BS? Like, are we done with this?
I think I couldn't get onto it because of Dylan Raiola. Like, that's a kid that, like, yes, he's got a football family, but none of them were quarterbacks. None of them were, like, yes, they're all, like, linemen and stuff. So the NFL pedigree is there, but I just can't get behind somebody that's not himself. Like he's trying way harder to be Patrick Mahomes than an efficient quarterback. Like you see it blatantly in his throws, making these tough angled throws for no reason. He never sets his feet. That's the most frustrating thing, and I know it's got to drive his coordinators nuts. And it's just got to be the most frustrating thing to be a wide receiver, to be wide open on a little drag route, and he's got to throw off of his back foot and make this little short stop throw across the diamond, and he freaking airmails it every time. Like we all have played little league with the shortstop that can't hit the damn first baseman. You're like, why is he still there? Coach's kid. Like it's the most frustrating thing. I'm done with him. I don't think he has any potential to be in the NFL at all.
Yeah, I think he's going to go down as one of the more uniquely interesting college football quarterbacks that we have ever had because of how good he was supposed to be, right? He had all the promise. Like when he flipped and went to Nebraska, he was supposed to go in and be the savior. But like you said, he's too busy trying to look like Patrick Mahomes. And I saw Tom Fornelli echo the same things that you said, Hunter. And he's trying to do these dainty little awkward slot throws. And it's like, just step in and sling it, dude. You have the arm strength. You have the talent. Like, if you just throw with accuracy and like set your feet and all that, like Nebraska probably wins that game against Michigan.
My other takeaways for last week is, I'm sorry, Evan, but just the way that Miami, in a terrible, sloppy, weather conditioned, Carson Beck doesn't have his best game. The defense stays true and is honestly the strength of the team, but the offense, through the running, winning in the trenches, finding a way to surge late in the fourth. They had a touchdown even taken back off of a phantom whistle, or the ref thought it was down, but it was never even slowed down. They blew the whistle, blew it dead. They ended up pulling away super late in it to make the score look better than it was. But Florida didn't look half bad in that game. The play calling's still terrible, but their defense is something to ride high on. Another takeaway I have is Indiana.
Yeah,
They're better than they were last year.
yeah, but
Easily.
I'm not buying this Kurt Signetti propaganda again, though. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this shit again with Indiana.
See, I thought Indiana would win maybe 9 games, but to make the playoffs was beyond what I thought. And it was because of Curtis Rourke. And now you get Mendoza, who I believe is better, and I believe last year he was a better quarterback. I felt like you've upgraded at the position, and the most important position in the game. I have more faith in Indiana today than I do last year. And I think with Illinois, they were written off as one of the top Big Ten teams. If you're that damn good, you're not losing by 53 points. Why is Illinois ranked? They've clearly proven there's levels to this shit, and they're nowhere close to being there.
I'm not buying. I'm not buying. I want to stay on the Indiana thing real quick. I'm
Okay.
not buying. I want to reiterate for the people. I'm not buying the Kurt Signetti propaganda that's going to get fed to me again.
Well,
Was
did you
it was
Google him? He wins.
I know he does, but all he's done is run his mouth, beat up on really bad teams, and yeah, Illinois we thought was really good. They could turn out to be really bad. I think we overrate them returning a bunch of dudes and made this a bigger thing than it should have been. In hindsight, of course. But he's going to have to play at Oregon and at Penn State. And if they look anemic, like they did last year against Notre Dame and against Ohio State, it's the same thing that we've been seeing. He's just going to, the way he says it, it's the SEC model. He's going to beat up on the bad teams. He's going to lose to one good team. And then we're over here thinking like they're a good team. And it's like, no, they're just Big Ten football just with a better quarterback than most people. And that's essentially like it's Wisconsin football with a better quarterback. All it is.
You give Wisconsin a damn quarterback, they're pretty explosive. I mean, that's typically when they make the Outback Bowl, and that was before the playoffs. A 10-2 Wisconsin team is still very dangerous.
Yes, but I'm not doing this whole like, is Indiana the best team in the country again? And I'm like, they have like, I was a big advocate last year for them to get in, but boy, man, they made me look bad as an advocate for them because they look terrible. Terrible. I mean, Oklahoma's win over Auburn was impressive. John Mateer, though, out with a hand injury. We will talk about that later. But, Hunter, you were talking about Ole Miss here.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss without Simmons is a better football team. Trinidad Chambles, I thought was going to be the starter to begin with. I did think they would let Simmons. I didn't think Simmons was ready, and he makes terrible decisions, forces the ball, but he's like a 4 or 5 star recruit, and boosters love him. So you force hand, make him the starter, and now with Trinidad balling out, Ole Miss is a real contender. And I think with them hosting LSU at 3:30, I think Lane Kiffin has every right to throw a damn tantrum about that. Because if it was roles reversed, it's a 7 p.m. game. That's a night game for sure.
Agreed. I think for Ole Miss, I think you do have a quarterback controversy, right? I think if it's not Chambliss playing in this LSU game and you start Simmons, who struggled against an Arkansas team that just lost to Memphis, where do you go? Right? Like, where do you go? Like, you can't start Simmons, in my opinion. Chambliss looked way better. Way better. And also, I need to know who told Lane Kiffin's daughter to hard launch her LSU boyfriend the week of this game. Because that is diabolical work.
Had to have gotten into a fight with her dad. There's no shot that they're not beefing right now.
Do it to your own father. Like, unbelievable. And I just know Lane's going to target him.
I saw somebody say that they don't know who's playing more mind games, Weeks or his daughter.
I just know Weeks is going to be drained before the game. So he's going to be out there dry, no extra testosterone pumping through that shit. He's going to be out there like a raisin.
Just diabolical work from Landry Kiffin. Just diabolical work. Any other major notes from the weekend? How do we
Texas Tech?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do we feel about Texas Tech?
I picked Texas Tech. Evan, who'd you take?
I didn't take Texas Tech last week.
Jacob, who'd you take?
If you're gonna try and gaslight me into you thinking you knew Texas Tech ball, I'm not entertaining it.
I had faith in them before the game. I had faith during the game. When I got the notification that the starter was out, I said, hey, it's all right. We still got it here. Texas Tech pulled away late, putting up 24 in the fourth quarter and making me look great.
All I have to say is I don't know which way you look at it. On the one hand, the Texas Tech defensive line is pretty legit. That is a very, very good defensive line, especially in a conference like the Big 12. They have a chance to really get after a lot of quarterbacks in this league. But I also think we overrated Utah because UCLA was terrible. Devin Dampier couldn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball. Part of it was the Texas Tech defense, but the other side was just terrible. Also, is Hammond better than Morton at quarterback for Texas Tech?
No.
But no. Morton sucks. I can't get behind the Texas Tech being number 12 in the country right now, but I can't get behind that. I still don't believe in Tech. I need to see more than what I've seen. The win is impressive because it's on the road, but I think it was more telling to me that Utah still has a lot of the same problems that they had last year that they thought they fixed because they beat up on a Nico UCLA team. But UCLA is dog cheeks, so who knows? Right.
Yeah, no one said Devin Dampier can throw the ball. They were always one-dimensional. They just didn't face a defense that could load the box and bottle up Devin Dampier and Wayshawn Parker at the same time.
Yeah, I just don't believe in Tech. Don't believe in it. I don't want to either, so that's how I'm going to feel about that. I just don't respect any teams that just, I get everyone's buying their roster, but the way Tech did it, I'm like, bro, get out of here. Get out of here. Well, gentlemen, where do we want to swing the conversation to next? I mean, we got on here on the list of topics. Miami is the consensus number one team for everyone, not the AP poll. Who's your number one team in the country? Hunter, do you want to talk to us about that? Because that wasn't proper grammar, and inform us of what you were thinking, and then we can explain? Or
Yeah, I was looking at a bunch of different rankings and polls and then going over videos and trying to grab ideas. And everyone was like, who's better than Miami? Who's got a better record? And then everyone was just bashing the AP poll. And I'm
I
like,
mean,
cool. So everyone,
I'm all for bashing the AP poll, by the way.
for sure. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is redundant and has been
Right.
known as being redundant. And the coach's poll really isn't that much better. I mean, have you seen Siski's comment about how when the 1 year he got a vote, they were said, dude, you can vote for whoever you want, but the head coach was a huge Duke basketball fan. So he said, you got to put Duke 25. Like, I can vote 1 through 24 how I want or put Duke wherever I want. They just got to be on that list. If a 2-10 Duke team is making my coach's poll list, we have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't have Miami as the number one team in the country. I think they have it right with Ohio State as the number one team in the country. I think Sayan continues to get better week in and week out. The offense continues to get better. The defense is very elite for Ohio State. So I think they have it right. And yeah, Miami beat Notre Dame and he beat a ranked USF team at the time. And then they, kind of beat up on Florida. But like, Florida's bad. USF is a mid-major and you beat Notre Dame by 3. So I like Ohio State with how they've looked and what I saw in that first game and how it can only continue to get better from there.
So we're cool with Ohio State looking abysmal against Texas, who's looked like shit all year, and we're going to hype that up. But Notre Dame's 2 losses are to 2 of the top 10 programs in the country.
I don't think Ohio State looked abysmal. I think Texas's defense is very good, and you're asking a true freshman quarterback to come in there and try go with everything going on in that game with the rings and all the players that are coming back. Like, you're asking a lot of a single player to try and block out that noise. Top of he's now facing one of the best defenses in the country. Like, that was a very defensive laden game. The Ohio State defense put Arch in a blender. They locked everyone down, and the secondary for them looked really good. And I've liked the way Sayan has progressed since that game as well. And yeah, you're gonna sit here and be like, well, the caliber of talent is quite different, sure, but to me, I still like Ohio State to be that number one team in the country. I think when the eye test, you watch it's pretty apparent how good that defense is and how much Sayan has progressed.
I mean, I just watched UTEP put up just as many points on that defense as Ohio State did. So I'm completely against with what you're saying. To me, Ohio State does not look great. I think they're overranked. I think you struggled with the University of Ohio. And
don't knock the MAC.
I mean, I love some action too, but
don't knock the MAC.
I don't know. I
this
just
is also
feel
the
like
same Ohio team that beat West Virginia, by the way. Not saying West Virginia is Ohio State, but they did beat it.
Compare the two, though.
Are we saying that Ohio is better or worse than USF?
That'd be a pretty fun game to watch.
This isn't even Ohio State's not even the best.
You gonna say the best team in Ohio?
No, they're not even the best Big Ten team. I like Penn State and Oregon. I like Oregon the best, but Ohio State is not it'll be shown.
Neither of them, but then neither of them have played anyone. If the argument for Miami is they've played better competition than Ohio State to be the number one team in the country, I can see your argument, but I'm not gonna sit here and
look at roster. Look at talent.
I don't need to look at talent. We have tangible results now. And I have the eye test. We're gonna reward Penn State for beating up on Villanova 52-7. And they're better than what many are saying is still a very good Texas team.
Brother, I watched Texas struggle against UTSA or UTEP. They put up 12.
This is also coming from the same guy that picked Clemson as their national champion pick, and they just lost to Georgia Tech and Syracuse at home and got bounced.
Me and everyone else in America believed in Clemson. So, ooh, your preseason poll's wrong. Like, if I were to change it today, it's Miami. Miami's undoubtedly the number one team in the country. They have the toughest strength of schedule so far, dominated, and have looked great in every aspect of football. Like, there's without a doubt, there's no one even close. No one has the resume that they do except for maybe USF, who Miami put fifth.
Oklahoma's got 2 ranked wins. Just saying.
They should have lost to Auburn. They got gifted a win.
Win's a win.
They should have been blown out, and it was so egregious that the conference had to apologize. Like, Auburn should have gone into, and Oklahoma and left with the win.
Listen, I'll see. What is it? They play Florida State next week, right?
Miami?
Yeah, they play Florida State.
It's on the 4th, yeah.
Yeah, they play next week. If they look impressive in that atmosphere and everything like that, and they're not the same old Miami team, then I may come around and see your number one. But as of today, as of this recording, I still have Ohio State as the best team.
Miami might win by like 30.
All right. Evan,
Damn.
been awfully quiet over there.
Well, yeah, I was listening to you two just go back and forth. I couldn't even, say anything to add to it.
You can jump in. You can jump into the alligator fight.
I mean, no, I'm gonna let you two duke it out because come in and throw my little punches like here and there. Say that I beat them up, but I didn't do nothing. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of Ohio State being number one. Do I think that they should still be up in the top 4? Yes. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be dropped down. Do I think that they should be number one? No. I feel like Miami has looked like the better all-around team. Granted, last week wasn't the best week for their offense, but weeks prior, they have shown that they can be that team. That all around is looking really good. I mean, just looking at the scores, I don't know. Texas has not looked very good at all. And I know Hunter has touched on this point. That's why I really didn't want to jump in because everything that I was going to say was already said. But I just don't think that Ohio State has the resume right now to be labeled as the number one team after we've seen Miami pull out some pretty notable wins and big wins throughout, just through these last 4 games.
It's also just the dominance of the win. Yes, the scoreboard for the Notre Dame isn't telling for the dominance of it because they got really conservative in the second half and let them score 14 points. And then the fact that you play in a muggy swamp against literally the Gators, it was pissing rain the whole time, impossible to throw. That's why the offense doesn't look good. Neither offense looked good because of weather conditions. It wasn't like the Ohio State-Texas game where both teams didn't look good because both their quarterbacks are sorry as fuck.
I mean, you also kind of have to put into it that, in the moment, Miami's had 2 ranked wins. They beat a number 18 USF, not only beat them, but belt to ass. And then they beat number 6 Notre Dame in the first game of the season. And that's why I feel that they should be propelled to number one. I know that they were kind of starting out real low, but with the only ranked win that Ohio State being is against a poor Texas team right now, I don't think that's enough to keep them in the one spot.
You're not changing my mind.
The only other team
I wasn't trying to change your mind.
Would be Oklahoma because they looked very good against Michigan and they beat Auburn. Both are ranked wins. And they obviously whooped up on Illinois State and then they went at Temple and thrashed them. So you have 2 ranked wins. Oklahoma's the only other one, and they've looked fantastic on all.
So I will say, I don't think that I would put Oklahoma up at 1. At maximum, I'd put them at 3.
Personally, I think 7 is a little too high for Oklahoma. I see why they're up that high, but that's a personal preference.
And I mean, looking at the top 25 right now, it's OSU, Miami, Penn State 3, LSU 4, Georgia 5, Oregon 6, and Oklahoma at 7. And I know I was shitting on Dante Moore at the beginning of the year. I'll sit there and say it, but he's proven himself. He's proven me wrong. And
he'll prove himself this weekend.
Exactly, when they're playing Penn State, which is another big thing too on what would really change this poll in general. because that'll tell us who the better team is. Like you're having a top 10 matchup right now that will kind of differentiate which team is better. But I don't know. I feel that Georgia should be a little bit lower on the list. I don't think that they need to be the number 5 team in the nation right now. Yes, they beat a Tennessee team in a real gutsy win in OT, but like as a whole, I don't think they need to be up there at 5.
See that game, when I looked back and watched it, Tennessee, the opening script, putting up 21 points. After that, it got stagnant, and if you really think about it, Tennessee had 3 explosive plays for touchdowns. And Georgia, at its best, eliminates explosive plays like that. Like, usually the only team that can get to them like that is Alabama, who is toe-to-toe when it comes to talent. So when I'm like, man, they had like a 73-yard touchdown, a 54, and like a 36. You take that all away, it added up to like 180 yards of offense on 3 plays. Tennessee looked good because they're like, oh, wow, they had 300-plus yards on them, all these points. You take those away, they did nothing on offense. Like, they desperately needed those big plays to stay into the game. And if Georgia finds a way to eliminate those plays, I think they look really good again this year. But for Oregon, you're talking about non-impressive. I mean, last year they started off really slow and really bad. Like, they almost lost to Montana or Idaho. Like, they won 21-3 last year, like, against Idaho. And in this year, you're going against Montana State, who is always in the playoffs. They won 59-13. Oklahoma State, the other OSU, decided to talk shit, and Oregon put 70 on them. Northwestern, not as much shit talking, so they said, we'll let you do a little backdoor cover. Still dominated on all aspects of the ball. And the Civil War, rivalry games, we know it's a shitstorm when it comes to like rivalry games. We typically throw that out the window and we go, this is everyone's A game right here. Like, you could be 0-11, and you go into the last game of the season, you'll play your best game because you want to win. Everything gets resolved if you win that rivalry game. They win 41-7 against Oregon State. Dominated. Oregon has a case to be up there. I don't think they're better than Miami. I don't think anyone's better than Miami. But I think Oregon looks like the best team in the Big Ten.
We'll find out this weekend.
I think, looking ahead to the weekend, I don't want to, before we look ahead to the weekend here, I mean, where else do we kind of want to go here? Like, do we believe in A&M? Do we feel good about Tennessee? Preseason hyped quarterbacks. Where do you guys want to let this conversation lead before we start diving into the weekend?
Let's hit through all the SEC topics. So we touched on Georgia. Does the SEC still run through Georgia? Or is there another big dog that we're not talking about, or a team that is like, dude, what are we talking about? Look at them.
I think it still runs through Georgia. I think last year proved it with Texas. What was the only team they couldn't beat last year? They couldn't beat Georgia. So with that, I think it still runs through it until someone knocks them off. Like, it kind of has to be them. LSU's gonna lose a game bad at some point. The way they're regressing from week 1, this could be the weekend for them. Ole Miss could come in depending on who the quarterback is. Go on the road to Ole Miss feels like kind of a little bit like a trap game for them. I still think it has to go through Georgia. I don't see any other team that can really light a candle to them. Like, Alabama's not Alabama anymore without Saban, so I think it's pretty apparent that it stays running through Georgia until otherwise proven.
I think there's a couple teams. I'm not sold on Gunnar Stockton at all. Like, I don't think you can lose Carson Beck or a Carson Beck caliber quarterback and tell me you've gotten better. I think your defense and the team as a whole is young. You're not filled with this third star. Like, this is the third year in the system, knows what he's doing. NFL talent. You've got a guy that is probably a true sophomore, still putting on his adult weight, kind of knows what he's doing, so he can, not feel for it, but he knows what he's doing in the system. I think Georgia's really young now, and I think they've regressed from what we've known them to be. And for that, I mean, they slip up. They're still babies. They're gonna mess up. Would I be crazy to think maybe the SEC runs through Oklahoma with John Mateer coming back in 2 weeks? You face a Texas team that has been terrible. They then go to South Carolina, who hasn't looked good. Ole Miss will have a couple of losses by then. Tennessee, we just saw how you beat Tennessee, and with that defense, smothering. You go at Alabama, who's probably looking for revenge, Mizzou, and then LSU. If it's not them, who else has money? Texas A&M. Who's to say Texas A&M doesn't put it together? They've got one of the weaker schedules. You got Auburn coming up. Auburn has looked, should have beat Oklahoma, but didn't. Mississippi State, down always. Florida, down. Arkansas, awful. Your only real hiccup is to LSU and then Mizzou. Because other than that, you got Samford, South Carolina, who hasn't played the part, and then Texas, who honestly shouldn't be ranked top 10 at all. They've looked like maybe a top 25 team. Maybe. They've nothing about them is impressive other than their defense, but who have they played? Ohio State, and that's it. You struggle with, UTSA, UTEP? Sam Houston, we ran him over late. Oh, look real cool. You struggle with San Jose. The team does not look that talented. I think if it's not Georgia, it's Texas A&M or Oklahoma.
I don't think it's any of them. I don't think any of them hold a candle to what Georgia is. To say the conference runs through a program, you have to earn that. Oklahoma with Mateer was probably on that path, but now you lose Mateer for surgery on his hand. What does that look like timetable wise? 3 to 4 weeks. Plus he's probably got to rehab it a little bit, depending on what type of surgery it was, right? It's on his throwing hand. He's got to get used to that again, and everything that comes with that. And then A&M hasn't proven anything ever. So, say it runs through College Station is a fever dream. It's Georgia or nothing, really. And I think it's between two big dogs, and it's Alabama or Georgia. And, that's kind of where the train kind of ends. No one, LSU may have an argument, but they haven't done anything since Joe Burrow. So when you look at it in that realm of logic, it's hard to say Oklahoma and A&M are the teams that run through in the SEC. It's Georgia or nothing in that conference.
We've seen a lot of changes here, though. Is the ACC still through Clemson? Is the Mountain West still through Boise?
Well, I think in the Mountain West side, it's probably still through Boise. And on the ACC side, at the beginning of the year, it was Clemson, and Georgia Tech and Syracuse have answered the bell and have gone through them. If Georgia Tech gets to the ACC, they would have gone through the team that ran it. So now, no one runs the ACC anymore. If we're going off that logic, I still think it's Georgia by a long stretch. Everybody else in the SEC hasn't done anything besides in Alabama. If it wasn't Alabama or Georgia winning the SEC, who is it?
I think it's either LSU or Oklahoma as a dark horse. And I had LSU before the season winning the SEC and losing to Clemson in the national championship.
It just looks like they're regressing to me. I can't see it. I just think Georgia, while they had their hiccups, they still look too good to not be the top dog, pun intended, in that conference.
And you've got Florida next week. It's a look-ahead game. You don't want to show anything more than what you already did. Then you go into Florida and you get 5 interceptions and a fumble. You cause 6 turnovers and win by 2 scores. Then you have scrub, win 56-10. I'm sure they found some kind of timing and rhythm during that. And we'll see against Ole Miss. Like we said earlier, depends on who's Ole Miss is playing at quarterback. If it is Simmons, LSU's defense is having another 4-interception game, 5-interception game. They are going to feast off that kid's poor decisions. Trinidad will not make as many mistakes. If they play him, you're going to see a closer game. But we'll see about that. And then after that, South Carolina wrote them off already. Vandy, you can't write off Vandy, especially not with Diego Pavia there. If Diego Pavia he's got to be in a cast in order for me to not believe in Vanderbilt. Then you run into A&M, who I think would then be the test of that's probably the early matchup of who's going to the SEC championship.
Yeah, Evan. Yeah, on it, your boy's tie. My last little bit on the LSU thing. They had to come back against what we're looking at as a bad Clemson team, and then they picked off what's looking like to be a bad quarterback in DJ Lagway for this upcoming year. Like, is it impressive? On paper it is, but when we have seen several weeks of these teams, like, I'm not sure if the LSU offense was really bad. And if it wasn't for a pick six, and granted, like, they won the game, so commend them on that, but if it wasn't for a pick six, it's a 13-10 football game the entire way through rather than 20-10. Like, you look at the game a little bit differently in that lens in terms of the LSU offense. And the LSU offense is not firing on all cylinders when they need to be. But I digress. So Evan, my sleepy boy here, doesn't fall asleep from me and you arguing on every topic. Evan, on the next topic, you can argue with Hunter on the next topic. I'll take a back.
I was going to say, well, with that logic, if we look through those lenses, we're one double fucking catch away from Ohio State and Texas never ending that first game. If it wasn't for that double bobble catch, that game is still fucking going on.
I don't know about that, because it was 7-0, and then he caught the double catch, and it turned into 14-0, and then Texas scored late, and then, like, that defense, that offense could never get anything going. But either way, the SEC has to run through.
Well, I talked about one SEC team, and that being Vanderbilt, very slightly. Evan, I want to know what you think. What does Diego Pavia's future look like after the season?
I'm sorry, I thought you were going more into that. I thought you had more words to say. It's not.
I can run it back.
No. It's not. It's not the norm for you to say 3 fucking words.
Jacob, I was talking about the SEC teams earlier, and I touched on one that I want to go more into detail. Somebody that we're not looking at, and that being Vanderbilt. They're finally ranked 18th. And Evan, we know we have some news on Diego Pavia. What does his future look like after the season, knowing that he is suing the NCAA for another year of eligibility?
I think that is ridiculous that is happening. He does not need to play what is going to be a 6th, 7th year for him. He is like, I think it's ridiculous. You're telling me that a man who is going on 25, 26 years old into that 7th or 8th year is going to be playing against a bunch of 18-year-olds. Hang up the fucking cleats, dude. If you're trying to make some draft stock, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's playing really well, but I'd hope he's playing really well. 24, 25-year-old against 18-year-olds is it just makes me really mad with the way that college football is shaping, with a lot of these transfers and a lot of these kids getting 5th, 6th years because of the COVID year and everything. Like, do I think that if he continues to play the way that he is, it may build some draft stock? Yes. But at the same time, like, you don't need an additional year. I don't even know the reasonings that he's saying that he deserves the 7th year, but like, you're going in earning near your master's degree. Don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback. He's playing really well, but I no.
Diego Pavia will be going into his 7th year, and the argument is the same as how he got this year. The NIL revenue, and how with There's 2 years in JUCO plus the COVID year. He should get that extra year because everyone else around him got 5 years, and 2 years of JUCO isn't NCAA. Shouldn't count as years wasted because he wasn't even in their program. So he's fighting for NIL money, which I mean, yeah, he's was offered upwards to 5 million, I believe, is what he was quoted at to leave and go to another SEC school. So plenty of revenue for him to be made. And to be honest, I think this is his only way to make money playing football. I don't know what the market is on a 30-year-old rookie quarterback in the NFL, but I can't imagine it's more than 5 million. Jacob?
Nah,
Yeah, I zoned out.
nah. Like, I get it. Like you're trying to get the bag, but no, like you cannot be damn near 30 years old playing with these 18-year-olds that have proven themselves that like have shown that they can play at that level. And like, I don't know, I just feel like he's taking away an opportunity from somebody that like could show themselves, be potentially better than him, and do what is meant in college football, which is play your 4 years maximum and then go to the NFL.
I think Diego Pavia should just, after this season, hang it up, bro.
Hang up the fucking cleats. Hang them up. Put them on the fucking wall right there.
I think Diego Pavia is the same age as me at this rate. How old is Diego Pavia? Let's see here. Diego Pavia is...
I think he graduated either 2018 or 2019 from high school. He's
crazy.
either our age or a year younger.
He's 24, so he's a year younger.
I think he's 2019.
You know how many 24-year-olds have like real jobs and like 401? Like, granted, Diego Pavia is making a bajillion more dollars than they all are. But I hope he has the LinkedIn ready, or I hope he's ready to learn French. So when he goes up to Canada to play in the CFL, like, I don't know what, or the XFL, he could stay and keep his American ties, but no, hang it up. I think I saw on Twitter that he said false, like he's not trying to do that. Like, I think he also knows that he needs to be done.
Well, yeah, because he's probably gotten so much backlash from it. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say it, but being 25 years old, 24 years old,
he's played 4 years of college football. He's good.
Like, he's done his time.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's the whole, like, I just hate that. Like,
you don't get tenure for staying in college.
No, and if you are trying to make it to the NFL, which is every kid's dream, and that plays football from the time that they're a youth kid, and especially it's a little bit more reality, or a little bit more of a reality when you're playing at like a high level D1. Like, I know it's everybody's dream to get to the NFL, but you got to know when there's a time like that it's not your opportunity to go to the NFL and just to kind of hang it up. Or if you feel like you still have a chance, like, do what you need to do. Go to the XFL. Go play in Canada, in the CFL. Show that you can play against some high-level players, and then try and make your way into the NFL. I think he either needs to hang him up and not give it the college try anymore, since he's been doing that the last 8 years. If he's going to give anything a try, he needs to give them boys in Canada a try, or hang out with the fucking XFL. And
I think I would agree with you if he wasn't at Vanderbilt. Like you said, give somebody a try. We've seen Vanderbilt give everyone and their mother a try. The last thing that has come out of Vanderbilt that was worth a shit was Jay Cutler. And we were in diapers when he played. Nothing has come out of Vanderbilt since, other than misery and mediocrity. I think with Diego Pavia there, he brings life into it that I think now they can get the ball rolling, and this is what Clark Lee needs to get the ball rolling and start making the program a program that he went to school at and actually gives a shit and will build and do as best he can. I think if he was at a program like Florida State, I think I would hate his guts. I'd be like, I hate this guy. Kind of feel the same way about Christian Ponder. I felt like he was there for 10 years and just never left. Like, there's guys that we feel like...
So that's how I feel about Cade Klubnik.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik's another guy that's been there for so long that we're like, dude, like, You're
Him and
9 years.
Nussmeier are like granddads. Him and like, listen,
I don't give a shit what school you're
I
at.
don't get. Yeah, I don't care that it's Vanderbilt. He could be playing for freaking Northern Illinois for all I care. It's
He
time.
could be a top star at Georgia. I don't give a fuck. Like, you do not need to be playing 7 years in a sport that has only allotted you 4 years to play.
I
do
mean,
not
we've seen worse. Tight end for Miami last year, Cam McCormick, 9
Yeah,
years. 9
Yeah.
years, gets drafted. Now
Yeah.
he's over in Seattle. Connor Bazelak for Bowling Green last year was a 6-year guy. Now he's with the Bucks. Why is it different? Because it's Diego Pavia? Because it's Vandy?
No, it's the same shit.
Yeah,
We were saying the same stuff
the
last
McCormick
year.
guy didn't want to update his LinkedIn. That's why he kept playing football, bro. Like, he was scared. Like, he also didn't have any knees, so the NCAA is like, well, in exchange for your ACLs, I guess we'll give you a year of eligibility, I guess. And for Connor Bazelak, like, congrats, brother. You played 6 years. You played half of it at Bowling Green. Good job. Like, I don't like. He
He's
also
in the NFL now.
He also was in the middle of COVID. He was part of the kids that were directly affected by the COVID year. Pavia at this point was not really that affected by COVID. He was just in that group of kids at this rate. And then they changed the JUCO rule, which is also dumb. Like, the NCAA doesn't know what they're doing, first and foremost. College football is going to have its own commissioner, its own set of rules, and be completely separated from the body that is the NCAA. For exact reasons, because Diego Pavia is 24 years old, playing quarterback in the SEC at Vanderbilt, and somehow has the grades to keep going in Vanderbilt without being concussed the way he be playing. Like, listen, what's next for Diego Pavia's future? Probably the XFL. And if it's not that, he might join Jake Fromm's insurance agency.
You better give Geico a shot.
Yeah, like, I hope he could be a David Goggins type guy, motivational speaker, because he's that kind of crazy. Gets in the gym at 3 a.m., like, broke the door so the door couldn't lock him out type of crazy. Yeah.
Bro enlists once he's done with college football. But sticking with football in the state of Tennessee, how should we feel about Tennessee moving forward after seeing them absolutely collapse against Georgia?
I won't think about them for the rest of the year until they play Alabama in the third Saturday in October, and then I won't remember them when they lose. Keep it short and sweet for everyone.
But doesn't it make their Syracuse ass whooping look a little bit sweeter, knowing that Syracuse just whooped Clemson, who
I don't know.
should have beat LSU?
Does it?
I mean, based off your logic, I think
Based
Tennessee's the number one team in the country.
I said what I said about Tennessee. I'm not going to think about them until the third Saturday in October, and then when they lose to Alabama, I won't think about them for the rest of the year. They're not going to do anything except waste my time in my television screen.
Evan, thoughts on Tennessee, or should I go to the other SEC team that's going to waste all of our time?
I don't appreciate this rage bait.
Not rage bait. It's a fact.
Damn. Okay.
Can our Florida fans say something nice about the color orange?
The color orange is a great orange, but it's
They're
not that
checker
pussy
school.
creamsicle orange. It's
Color
not
Orange is a great orange.
a great orange, great color. The creamsicle, not so much. I mean, Tennessee, I don't think they're a terrible team. Like, they've shown that they can kind of keep up with Georgia and then kind of break down. Do I think that means anything? No. I mean, I don't see them doing anything crazy. I'm not at the level of Jacob to where I'm like, they're a waste of my TV time. But
I have other games I'd rather watch, but
any football is good football.
I'm not in the mood to watch Tennessee travel to Starkville, unfortunately. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just don't like seeing Mississippi State on my screen. Maybe it's both.
I think it's that. I also hate watching Mississippi State. The stadium is like unappealing, and then I hear clanking the whole time. And it's like, dude, are we at a Rays game? Like, this is obnoxious. And what's crazy is, like, cowbells are outlawed everywhere. Why the fuck is it acceptable there to bring a cow? Like,
Grandfathered
Tradition.
in, just like Diego
Yeah.
Pavia, I guess.
Diego Pavia was the grandfather who created grandfather.
He is the grandfather.
He is the grandfather. No,
Don't
it's
get
a
it mixed up with the
it's a historic
Godfather.
thing in Mississippi. Like for the cowbell, like it's a whole tradition. Like you can't just go buy a cowbell. Like the cowbell has to be gifted to you. Like it's a whole thing.
And that's what makes
Like,
college
do I
football
care about
great.
Arkansas,
Tradition.
Tennessee in Week 7?
Arkansas is terrible, but, you know,
Yeah,
Mississippi State was
Thank you.
gifted a
No,
win
no,
by
no.
Arizona State.
No.
They have a top 20.
I just want, and then where's the next Tennessee game? We got there it is, Tennessee at Alabama. Then I'm back, and if they win that game, then I'm back in on the Tennessee train. Then you have my attention. But if you lose that, I'm out. Because then we're looking at what? We're looking at Tennessee at Kentucky, snooze fest. We're looking at Oklahoma at Tennessee. If John Mateer's back, I might watch.
I think he's back for Texas. I can't imagine he wouldn't be back for Texas.
Let's see here. New Mexico State at Tennessee. Come on now.
I'm
Vanderbilt
waiting to
at
see what you
Tennessee
say
would be
next.
it would be pretty cool this year. Tennessee at Florida. They'll probably lose that game somehow, knowing Tennessee.
Good answer. Good answer. Good boy.
I don't know. Knowing how
Fuck you.
Tennessee
Fuck you.
lost that game last.
You called me a good boy, so now we're going to talk about his shitty ass Florida Gators here. All right. You're going to sit here. Hunter's probably mad at me. He's like, Jacob's hijacking my show. And it's like, you know what? Hunter, it was actually never your show to begin with. Anyways, no, Evan, listen here. Listen here. For those listening, thinking, oh, Jacob's crashing out. You're damn right I am. Because this guy here thinks he's fucking sweet with it. And I'm over it. He's going to look at me with his terrible football program with a head coach he hates. And look at me like I'm the problem.
I mean, hey, it is very clear that Billy Napier is
Hunter, I got to
not the man for the job.
pause. Hunter, have you ever seen an AD put out 7 quote graphics saying that his head coach is the right man for the job after every gut-wrenching loss that he's had in his career during his tenure at said university?
No. Every game, even if they have a bad practice, they're like, he's the man. We don't have any money. We gave it to DJ Lagway. We can't afford an offensive coordinator. That's why he's calling the plays.
Like,
But you never know. Tennessee might find their next quarterback in that New Mexico State game. I mean, that is how Vanderbilt found Diego Pavia.
What was that
That is-
during his 5th or 6th year?
It was his third and fourth.
what are we... Evan, you talk about Diego Pavia or whatever you were going to talk about. I'm going to pull up this quote graphic from Scott, from your AD.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that I was going to say is
Yeah, me and Scott
Hunter kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the show. Like, Florida's defense is showing that, like, who they are. They're showing that they are a high caliber defense. Leading into the Miami game, only letting up 2 touchdowns the entire season in the first 3 games, letting up an additional 2 in Miami, or 3 if you want to count the phantom whistle touchdown. Like, their defense is showing that they're keeping Florida together. They're the only reason why Florida has been so close in these losses. And I feel like it's just a mixture between DJ Lagway not performing to the level that everyone was hoping that he'd perform to, and Billy Napier just making absolutely terrible calls at a 3rd grader in fucking daycare. Or not even a 3rd grader, a 3-year-old in daycare can make better decisions than that. I'm livid right now. Hunter wasn't there to see it, but I was making coaching decisions that were by far a lot better than Billy Napier, and I have 0 coaching experience.
Here is the letter from Scott Strickland after their loss to USF. Gator Nation, I wanted to let you know that Billy Napier will continue as the head football coach of the Florida Gators. Wrong sentence to start with. As we've seen these past several weeks, the young men on this team represent what it means to be a Gator by losing. Their resolve, effort, and execution are evident in their performance and growth each week, building a foundation that promises a greater success next season and beyond. So we already have foregoed this season. He's talking about next year, the AD. UF's commitment to excellence in a championship caliber program is unwavering. In these times of change across college athletics, we are dedicated to a disciplined, stable approach that is focused on long-term sustained success for Gator athletes, recruits, and fans. I am confident that Billy will meet the challenges and opportunities ahead. Update:
Ooh,
he hasn't.
Give me the fucking crash out.
We will work
You're gonna give me the
alongside
fucking
him
crash out.
to support any
Put your fucking
changes.
hand down. Put your fucking hand down. I have so
Hold
much
on.
to say. No.
I'm not done
Fuck
reading.
the rest of the statement. No. Shut your fucking mouth.
reading.
Because I got some shit to say. This is bullshit, okay? This is bullshit. You're sitting here telling me that you're having somebody.
I love that you just broke your microphone, you dummy. We can't hear you.
How angry I am. Fuck you. I don't care. Listen.
You're back. We can hear you.
I'm crashing out. Listen, you're telling me that you are having a coach that going, I can't even remember the lot when they were comparing the 20-20, like of his record. But the fact that you are having somebody that has actively shown he cannot coach this fucking Florida team to any type of good excellence. God, I'm sorry. We had a decent season last year. We made it to the Reckless Bowl. Well, I don't fucking know. The Gasparilla Bowl. That's all I'm going to
Gator
call
Nation
it.
has remained strong, showing
You
us
shut
game
the
after
fuck up and
game
let me talk.
and with our team. This loyalty creates an incredible environment that
No,
inspires
shut
our
up.
players to compete.
Shut
with
up.
heart and
Mute him.
determination.
How do I mute him? Stop talking. Because you're sitting here and you're telling me that you're all about Gator excellence and a championship caliber program. Yet you fired the 3 coaches before him before they got to a 40-game mark, which you're allowing Billy to be at this 40-game mark and still being 50%. That's outlandish, outrageous. You're letting somebody that is showing that he is not coaching well at all to an SEC caliber continue to fucking stay.
I have the stats in front of me. Dan Mullen was 31-9 when he got fired.
Okay,
He stepped
40
away.
games, and he clearly has a higher record than Billy Napier. Continue.
Jim Melkwain was 22-12, fired before game 40.
Okay, 34 games, and still had a better record than Billy Napier. Keep going.
Will Muschamp did hit 40 games. He went 24-16.
Okay.
And
Still-
Urban Meyer went 31-9. Billy Napier through 40 games is 20-20.
Outlandish. And I know I'm almost positive that was after the USF loss, so he is now 20-22.
Correct. Yes.
Crazy. Less than 50%. He is at a 48% win percentage rate.
Do we?
He's still 2 games behind Jim Melkwain, 4 games behind Will Muschamp,
Cut him.
and 11 behind Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer.
Does he make it to the Georgia game? Like
The way that the Florida's AD
the way your schedule works out, you might only have 2 wins when you get to Florida, Georgia, because you get Texas A&M, Mississippi State, which ain't no guarantee right now for you, and then you play Georgia and Jacksonville. Like,
I hope to God that Florida's AD gets it together, that he stops living on fucking cloud 9, and that he.
Billy Napier's buyout is $21.7 million.
dude, I'd do that.
I'll put the GoFundMe together.
Yeah.
I'll start talking to fucking Florida fans right now.
Listen, at least it's not as bad as DeBoer. DeBoer's got 70. Listen, this is what this show's about. It's about crash out.
Damn, Billy, I fucking hate you.
I totally forgot why I put my hand up. I'm gonna.
I
You
thought
put
it
that
was for
shit
those
down.
numbers.
No, I was gonna say something
well before my
beforehand.
crash out.
Hold on, there was one more thing I looked up here.
Oh, what were we talking about when I put my hand up?
Yeah,
Jacob
that
was
letter
reading
that
the
I told
AD.
you about, Evan, was the same letter that he wrote in 2024 after Billy Napier sucked.
Yeah, it goes to show that he can't even fucking change the letter up. He's got to use the same goddamn letter.
Sure wasn't actually any new letter. I just gaslit you. Anyways.
Piece of shit.
Well, I have in front of me the Oklahoma Sooners, and as Jacob touched upon, John Mateer is out for an unknown time. Jacob, what does an Oklahoma team look like without John Mateer?
Me not watching them.
Thank you for that, Michael Clark take.
Rage bait.
That was
Rage bait.
fantastic.
So I think
Rage bait. Rage bait.
I was saying this on my main podcast, the deal with D&J, selfish plug. I think for Oklahoma, Palmentier was the engine that was going to drive Oklahoma as far as they wanted to go. And I think now that Mateer's injured, I think they might get lucky. And it's Kent State, a bye, and then Texas. If I'm
In
correct.
order, it is a bye Kent State, Texas.
So like if that's the way it's going to go for Mateer and he comes back for Texas, Oklahoma dodges what is arguably the biggest bullet anyone has ever seen when it's a quarterback's throwing hand injury, right? But with that, if he doesn't play against Texas, I think Oklahoma will struggle very, very mightily against Texas. Regardless of how we felt about Texas, I still think that Texas defense is legit. And if you're putting in a quarterback who's getting his first real game action of the season is really against Texas, it's a lot to ask of a guy. Granted, like Hunter said, Hawkins was the backup last year, so he has experience, right? So it's not like doesn't know what the pressure or the atmosphere feels like for this type of game. It's just more of I'm not going to say rust factor. It's just mentally it's a block for me to get over Mateer not spearheading that offense and it executing the way it probably should, even though the Oklahoma defense is much, much improved than it was last year. But, if Mateer's out any longer than that Texas game and it extends, I think you start worrying about Oklahoma in terms of their college football hopes and aspirations in that realm.
Yeah, I think last year Oklahoma's offense was pretty shit and it never really got going. It did get better once Michael Hawkins did take over and he did play in the Texas game last year. He went 19 of 30 for 150 yards. Most of it is because they threw a bunch of screens. Hard to get yards when you're throwing it behind. His ratings, however, aren't like awful. Like his QBR is like 150 for his career, but his best game happened against Navy, which was the last game that he played in, 28 of 43. He likes to throw it out, and he does have some good legs under him, so he does give you that dual threat, but he does make poor decisions. He will hold on to the ball and take sacks at awful times, and I think you touched upon it. Ben Arbuckle is the new coordinator. This is an offense that John Mateer is in year 3 of, so he knows how it runs, how quickly balls need to go out, what to look for, pre-read, post-snap, what to do, what arm angle goes best with what. Whereas Michael Hawkins has been in this offense for 3 months with second-team reps. It's going to look pretty stagnant, and it's going to have to be dumbed down for him. If John Mateer comes back for Texas, I think that makes this Oklahoma-Texas game probably one of the best games we'll see all season. But without it, I think if Arch Manning keeps playing the way Arch Manning is and Michael Hawkins is in there, I think you're looking at another probably 6-3 game where you just want to wish you were watching any other game. Evan, would you like to add on?
I think Evan's done talking ball. I think we've ruined him. I guess I don't know how much more topics we have, but I do want to touch upon this one. With Mateer being out, does this hurt his Heisman chances? Do we have a new clear favorite Heisman with Mateer being out for 2 to 3 weeks? My answer is no, and it's still Mateer, but no one's really impressed me. And maybe I just am like having too crazy big expectations. But the only other guy that I'm been super impressed by is Ahmad Hardy of Mizzou. Just with what he's been able to do in that running back tandem and the yards after contact and putting Mizzou on the back against South Carolina. Like, he was tackled at the 4-yard line and somehow still got into the end zone by himself. Sawyer Robertson, I still think he has a good chance, but his performance against Arizona State, I don't think did him any favors in gaining ground on Mateer.
I think you're right in the fact that, so John Mateer has played 4 games already, and a lot of people are just now hitting their buys. So he's got a week where everyone's kind of not going to play as well. And he's already separated himself from the pack. So you give them an extra game on them. You see how Oklahoma plays against, well, it's against Kent State. So wasn't going to be like he was going to play a full game anyway.
It was going to be a stat pad.
Yeah, he was going to throw for like 200 to 300 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns, 1 or 2 on the ground. Like it was going to be something that was going to be a quick quarter. But does it hurt his Heisman? I don't think so. Just because if he's back by Texas, and imagine just that's his Heisman moment there. You come back from injury, you go in there, you play big, run over a Texas defender to score a touchdown and really lay him out like Arch wish he could. There's your Heisman moment right there in front of your biggest rival, shoving it to them at the fairgrounds. That's your Heisman right there, if that happens. If it doesn't, it's hard for me to look away from Mendoza. He was really good at Cal last year and was the reason they were so good. He goes to Indiana, goes into a new system, and is lighting it up. It's hard for me to not believe in that and not see that being very consistent. I think he is the other dark horse that we're not talking about. And if he has a couple more games like that, his stats are going to be way ahead of everyone else. And I think that'll be a sleeper that we'll end up talking about week 8 or 9 when we're like looking at everything and go, oh shit, his numbers are this and that, and Indiana's beat them and that, and he looks really good against, Penn State.
What question then? What more does Carson Beck have to do to enter the conversation? I mean, he's entered the conversation for us on the Heisman pack leader, but what more does he have to do to become the front runner if Mateer's taken 2 games off?
Yeah, I mean, so the reason why I didn't bring up Carson Beck is you have Bethune-Cookman, he's played a half. You have Florida where he couldn't throw the ball. It was a swamp. So he's really played in 2.5 games, whereas everyone else is at 4. He's behind. If he balls out at Florida State and throws for 3 or 4 touchdowns, I think if he just continues to be the game manager that we know he is, he's consistently top 10 in passing, yards, touchdowns, efficiency every year. I think let the wide receivers do their thing, and Carson Beck will gradually keep going up and up. He's just not the flashy guy. He's not going to give you that huge emotional swing. He's very mellow, and for that, it's not a sexy vote. I think if he gives us some flavor to him, maybe it is at this next Florida State game. Maybe Carson Beck goes out there, lays somebody out, and gives us a flex, starts talking cash shit to Florida State. That's a Carson Beck I want to see. I want to see some Miami Carson Beck, and if Miami Carson Beck comes out, there's your Heisman, especially with John Mateer not being healthy.
Do we have anything else? Because I think Evan is officially done with this show.
I was going to be like, Evan, do you want to add on to that?
To be completely honest, I zoned out.
Yeah, Pookie Evans.
Let's do one more topic, and then we'll pick like 2 or 3 games for week 5 previews and call it a wrap.
You see where we're at on time, right?
We have plenty. I don't mind talking about week 5. Can we just do that?
What other topics are you wanting to talk about?
The one I was looking at, because we had talked about USF earlier, is there a better G5 team than USF?
Nope. There's a reason we've skipped it the last 3 weeks. We're going to keep skipping it this week.
I mean, personally, I think Tulane's better than them. I don't think they have a better record, but I think they're a better resume, but I think they're a better team, and you'll see it. I think Memphis is there.
Jake Retzloff has nearly 350 yards rushing himself.
Yeah, Retzloff is in there, and I think Memphis. There's 2 American teams that'll give them a run for it, and it'll be
an American team this year that gets into that group of 5 at large for sure.
All right, let's go to previews. The one I was having trouble with the most was.
I'm not mentally ready. I'm not mentally ready to make my picks today, though. Do I have to make my picks?
Well, you don't have to, but I mean, like, if you're neutral, then you can talk about it from both ends.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm finna do then. Come on, Evan, walk with me here. We're almost done, Pooks. I know you want to play Fortnite. I know. It's okay. We're almost there.
I have to pee.
Go piss, girl. Me and Hunter can talk.
Oh,
All right. Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we go?
Let's just do two. Let's do Oregon, Penn State, Bama, Georgia.
Penn State has Drew Aller, Oregon has Dante Moore, and then Alabama has Ty Simpson, and Georgia has Gunnar Stockton. That's your preview. I'm gonna make Hunter crush out. All
Yeah.
right. Oregon, Penn State. The clash of the Titans here in week 5. I mean, the wideout for Penn State is officially back. Not like it ever left, but they always wasted it on like Iowa or Washington or Illinois, like these terrible teams, because Fox kept putting the Ohio State game at noon. First off, Fox ruining football, and two, like now we're back. Oregon is walking into a absolute mayhem of a place over in State College, Pennsylvania. Where do they go? I don't know. Does Drew Aller step up here with Allen and Singleton, and that offense can handle something like a team like Oregon? Can Dante Moore handle the noise and the impact that this Penn State crowd's going to have on top of that defense that Penn State's going to bring? Those are the questions that I'm wondering of. Hunter, initial gut reaction to this game.
I think when I first look at it, I'm like Oregon, and then I'm like, let me look into it. Let me not jump to conclusions. But the last time we saw Penn State in a big game, it was in the playoffs when I watched Drew Aller throw across his body and get picked off to end the season. We have the narrative of James Franklin can't win the big game, and it's been proven factual everywhere. He's gone. I think this is a huge game. This is a huge moment. You've got Dan Lanning and his Oregon Ducks with this $40 million roster telling everyone they can kiss their feathers. And I think Oregon comes in here, and they're not scared of the big moment. We saw it last year when they played Wisconsin in the jump around thing where they were getting amped up, and he's a psycho, and he's going to get his whole team amped up and ready to go. And I think Dante Moore, his team believed in him last year. It's exactly why Singapulutale left Oregon and went to Cal. He wasn't going to play because they said, this Dante Moore kid, he's going to win the Heisman. His team believed in him last year, and he wasn't even a starter. Dylan Gabriel was there. Now he has the full reins, and you've seen them look fantastic. I mean, they have beat Montana State, who's always in the playoffs. You destroyed Mike Gundy to the point where they fired him. Northwestern, you showed a little bit more grace and let them, score at the very last second. And Oregon State, you just manhandled. Oregon has looked fantastic on all facets of the ball. But on the other end, Penn State has handled business. They whooped Nevada. They whooped FIU. They beat Villanova. And now they've had a bye week to prep for Oregon. That's 2 weeks of just ready to go. And really, 3 cupcakes before, they've had pretty much all offseason to look ahead and get ready for this, with this being their only actual test where these guys are just as talented as us. They're just as big and strong. And I think it'll all come to coaching. And when it comes to me picking this, players win this, but coaches lose them. One side has a history of a coach losing big games, and the other one has a history of him winning it. I think Oregon wins this. They project it to be, it's just supposed to be even. I think Oregon just wins this probably by 3. Nothing crazy. I think they dominate the line of scrimmage, and I think they just take it to Penn State. Evan?
you're done. No, I mean, Oregon looks like a good team. I feel like a big factor that's going to play into it is the fact that it is a night game in Penn State. I mean, that's me personally. That's why I got Penn State winning it. I know Oregon's looked like a really good team, but again, both have really played cupcake teams leading into this game. So I feel like it's going to be a true test for both of them. I just think that Penn State is going to have more of that at-home factor with it being a 7 o'clock game and a whiteout game for the season. Because the Penn State fans come with it when it's a 7 o'clock game, whiteout.
Yes,
just
Hunter,
speak.
you have raised your hand.
I just clicked on Drew Allard's player profile, and in the 3 cupcake games that he's played, you know what his QBR is?
It's like
Probably like
38.9 or whatever. Close.
4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 600. I was like, why is the stat so low? QBR 38. What the fuck?
They ran the ball.
Jacob, you could go out there right now
I think
and have a higher QBR.
I think it's something where if you threw 3 incomplete passes, you would have a higher QBR than Drew Aller does through 3 games. I think is what the stats are. Alabama, Georgia, anybody? I don't believe in Ty Simpson. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. I can't shake him running for his life in the Florida State game out of my head. I still trust Georgia a little bit more than I trust Alabama, but we'll see. I'm running out of gas. I'm running.
You can speak, and then I'll just close it out.
I mean, I don't have full faith in Gunnar Stockton. I have even less faith in Ty Simpson. It is kind of like a toss-up game because you don't know what's going to happen. It's like one of those ones to where like, oh, is Ty going to come out and be like, oh, you know what? I am going to play like the quarterback that everybody thinks that I am at the beginning of the season. Like I'm going to show them why I was in the talk of being a Heisman in preseason. We don't know. He didn't show that against FSU. I mean, he's played cupcake teams since. I don't know. I think Georgia's going to pull it out, especially with it. It's in Georgia, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
so
is
especially with it being a Georgia home game, I just feel like it kind of means more to them, especially after last season's game, which, if I remember correctly, Georgia won that game. And so it's going to. Did they?
No, Alabama won last game.
Yeah, it was the Ryan Williams spinneroo touchdown.
Final catch. Yep, I don't know how I forgot about that. I thought that
Alabama has won, I believe, 10 of the last 11 meetings, with the one Georgia win being the Natty.
I mean, that only goes to show what I was saying about how this game means a little bit more to Georgia because they're trying to show that Alabama is not their kryptonite, that they can actually beat Alabama and not let what has happened in the past be like dictation of what this game is going to be like.
Yeah, I think when I first looked at it, I picked Bama to start. I kind of take the first game with a grain of salt in the fact that they didn't have any effort. It was just piss poor effort, and that's on the coaching staff. And since then, they have whooped ass. They beat ULM 73-0, and we're like, Ty Simpson, you gotta stop feeling it. Like you're making the right reads, but you're slow. You're like, oh, he's open, and then throw it. No, he's open, throw it. And against ULM, he was 17 for 17, 100%, which in itself is an incredible feat to be 17 of 17 in any game, high school, anything. Then you go play Wisconsin, a Big Ten opponent. Let's not act like Wisconsin isn't known for their defense. And he is 24 of 23, thrown for almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, taking 1 sack. I think Ty Sampson's figured it the fuck out. I think if Alabama were to play FSU this week, Alabama would curb stomp FSU. FSU does not look good. They haven't played anyone. They took all offseason to gear up for that game. And we talked about that offensive play calling is not one that can be sustained for 12 games. And I think that we'll see what their game plan is against Miami. But for Alabama, they've figured out what they want to do. And it's not the Ryan Williams show. It is Giovanni Bernard taking over for them. The running needs to be better. Riley only having 120 yards on the season. Not acceptable for an Alabama running back room. I think if they get that going, Georgia's in trouble. But Georgia's front is insane. I think Georgia and the Kirby Smart defense, I think they find a way to win this after looking into it. Defense wins you championships. And I think in a big game like this, Georgia at home, I think the defense steps up. I think Gunnar Stockton, being the game manager he is, doesn't fuck them over. But it's very hard to believe in Gunnar Stockton. But it's equally as hard to believe in Ty Simpson. I think Ty's shown you more than Gunnar, to be honest. But I think the team just loves Gunnar more than Alabama loves Ty. Defense rallies. I think Georgia wins this, but last second field goal. And that's that.